Finn. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, baby, yeah. Yeah, baby, yeah. Good evening, guys, and welcome to another show. My name is Mr. Finn, and here I am once again to do my best to make you better. And tonight I have a special guest. His name is Arvin. It's been an interesting night so far. I was having technical difficulties on my end. I still haven't resolved it, but hopefully by next stream I will. And my guest was having technical difficulties on his end as well. But I finally got him. Let me introduce him and bring him on in. His name is Arvin from Iran. Arvin, where are you, buddy? There you are.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
Am I clear?
Yeah, loud and clear, man.
Great.
Hearing you nicely. I'm shocked to see the new look, man. You know, I set up the thumbnail. You had this hair going, and
yeah, I used to have a long hairstyle, but I just cut them off. It's a recent action. I don't know, maybe just being different again.
all right, cool. I dig that. I change my look often. I think when you and I first met, I had a was it a beard or I had a beard, right?
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, and before I created English with Mr. Finn, I had long hair as well.
Yeah, I saw them.
You saw some pictures, right? So, Arvin, introduce yourself to my audience. We only have 1 or 2 people watching right now, but I will keep this archived. I think things that you can bring in the conversation we'll have can be interesting for people who are interested in different cultures and stuff. So, introduce yourself.
So, hello, everybody. My name is Arvin, and I'm an English learner, also an English instructor. I've been teaching English for several years, maybe also teaching some IELTS, and I don't know what to say.
Well, how old are you?
5 in the morning, and I don't know what to say.
Yeah. People, that's interesting because I don't know exactly who's watching right now. I know Matt's on, Matt M. He's one of my moderators. I don't even know exactly where he is. He's in the States, I think California. So, and I have people on your side of the world. I do have quite a few, I don't want to say fans, but followers. I have quite a few followers in Turkey, Iran, Russia, and it's still the middle of the night, you know, in those areas. Yes. And you and I kind of combine this because I usually go live at 9 p.m., but that would have been 4:30 in the morning for you because there's a 7.5 hour difference between us.
Yes, exactly.
So you're waking up in the morning and I am wrapping up my crazy long day with you. So it's really interesting how the world is still, as far as territory, a large place, but with the wonders of technology,
it's great. You know,
right?
It's great. Yeah, I love it. I really love it that you can make contact anytime, anywhere, worldwide. Yeah, that's cool.
So I was wrong. I was wrong about where Matt is. I thought California. He's on the East Coast. So if he's on the East Coast, and for him it's 9 p.m. When I advertised our show, I did put 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because I figured that would have been easier. I'm always the fact that I'm an American from the West Coast, from Commie, California. Now that I look at it, and this is something I want to get into with you as far as culture and how things are, you know. But the fact that I'm from there, I live here in Brazil, and as an English teacher now growing online on Instagram and YouTube, that I'm interacting with people all over the world. So I'm always having to take in consideration these time differences.
Yes. I see it. We had experienced it before. We had, lives on Instagram, and we had experienced these problems, difficulties with getting online. And, as always, I'm here at your service.
Yeah, man. I was really happy that you were willing to do this, because I want. This is probably my sixth or seventh live. As you know, I've been on YouTube and Instagram as English with Mr. Finn since 2019, right? So January 2019. So this January was 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time, like my focus was to grow and get bigger and grow because I think the experience I have living in many different places and the success that I have as teaching English here in Brazil, I wanted to bring that online and, on a more global scale. And I still my aim is still to do that, but now I see the language, I see the English language. How should I say this? I see it like kind of the retardation of it. And I don't mean like retarded as like the disability, like retarded people. But if you look at the word retarded in a dictionary, it means like it's the opposite of progressive. It's
Yeah, yeah.
it's going backwards, you know? And so my aim is not only to just help English learners to be better, but now I kind of feel like I want to help my own speakers, like my own people who speak my own language to be better communicators, you know?
Yeah, I see. How do you make progress nowadays with your Portuguese?
My Portuguese is good. It's I do consider myself fluent. My level, like I think you as an instructor as well, you kind of have these certain kind of standards, like, okay, if you could
Mm-hmm.
do this, you know. So like for me, my standard of fluency is if you're able to communicate and like resolve things over the telephone. Like if you can
Okay,
do
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
for me, if you could do that in another language, you're fluent. Now being fluent is far from perfect, but you to be fluent to me is like you're able to communicate, you're able to understand, you're able to encode a message and decode a message, you're able to
And that's enough, I guess. And that's
say,
enough.
I think, well,
Yeah,
I don't know if it's enough, but it's a good place to be at. I
yeah,
always want to try to get better. Does that make sense? So like I
yeah. I
said,
subscribe to.
uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah,
Manuel, this is an old student of mine. He's like, my Portuguese is pretty good. Thanks, Manuel. It's okay. It's okay. I will admit, and trying to say this humbly, that my accent is not as bad as other Americans' accent who speak Portuguese. Like I could even notice their accent's really hard. Arvin, but talking about languages, what other languages do you speak? Now, to my knowledge, like so the people who are watching can understand this. You and I have known each other for about 2 years. You
yes,
you and I met in 2019 via Instagram,
yes, yes, yes. I remember
right?
that.
You remember I promoted a post
Yes.
and I was promoting it in different areas of the world. And I think the Middle East, in that area, I promoted it, and you hit me up, and we've been in contact ever since. So the only reason why I mentioned that is because so people know that you and I kind of know each other. We've been talking,
Yeah.
and as far as I know, you could speak English. Obviously, you speak Farsi.
Persian, the same as Farsi.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and we'll get into that too, right? But Farsi, Russian,
A little bit Russian.
a
I'm
little bit
not
Russian.
fluent in large Russian, but I can get by.
You get by.
Yeah.
French,
Get by only.
you
Getting
get by
by.
only.
Yeah.
Is there any other languages?
Yes, Kurdish language is my native language.
Oh, because that's what Matt's asking. Does Arvin
Yeah.
speak Arabic?
No, I don't speak Arabic, unfortunately, but since I was living in Iraq for 2 years, I can understand it, not totally, but to some extent, I can understand it.
Answer me this. Answer me this. And this is from an ignorant American, right? And people, and this goes back to my focus on being accurate with language. Ignorant is not an insult. Ignorant just means you don't know, right? So
Hmm.
people nowadays get very insulted if you say you're ignorant. I've had arguments with people because I said they're ignorant. It just means you don't know. Okay, anyways. So from an ignorant American, what is the difference between Arabic, Kurdish, Farsi? And are there any other like Middle Eastern languages that I missed out of those three?
Turkish,
Turkish,
And local languages, there are too many local languages which we can't count here, I guess. But these languages, I think Arabic is the most separated one, the most popular one, okay? And after that, Persian, which is the language, the
Well,
official language.
but
Yes.
Persian, isn't that Farsi?
Yeah, this is the same as Farsi.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
the
okay,
same.
okay.
Persian, which is the official language of Iran and Afghanistan also.
Oh, I didn't know that. I knew
Yes,
I knew Iran. I knew it was Iran, but I didn't know it was Afghanistan.
yeah, also Afghanistan. Yes, and to
Oh,
some
interesting.
extent to Pakistan, I guess. They speak Persian.
Maybe
with
the northern part,
different,
right?
yes, with different dialect, but
Interesting.
we can understand each other.
Now, let me ask you something. You said there were different local languages. Are they actually like foreign languages in local communities, or are they just dialects of the same language?
No, no, no. They are distinct languages.
Really?
Really? Yeah.
But are they rooted from Arabic? Like for example, like when I mean rooted from Arabic, it's like Latin. Like Latin is
I know.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes. They don't drive, in any languages, any other languages, because
Really?
they have their own culture, their own history.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. For example, Kurdish, my native language, as far as I know, is a very old language, and
Yeah.
it has it has a lot in common with Kurdish and Arabic, but it's a distinct language itself.
Really? I see. So the fact that you're from Iran, I assumed that
Mhm.
your native language is Farsi, not Kurdish, because I know Kurdish is from Iraq.
Look, the eastern part of Iraq and the western part of Iran are Kurds. And I'm from
Okay.
the western part of Iran, so my native language is Kurdish, but I officially speak Persian in my country, and I study with Persian language.
Interesting. Okay, cool. That's awesome. I love this kind of stuff. Like for me, I do, because it's for me, it's just so fascinating. Because if you think, and the reason why, like, I think not the reason, but one of the reasons why is because you look at society nowadays and
Mhm.
how so many of our quote unquote like leaders or manipulators, players, they're trying to divide us on everything. They're trying to divide us culturally and racially and sexual orientation. I mean, and the way I see it is just we're all human. We're all people. We all bleed red, and we all have emotions. We all have dreams and desires and fears. And the fact that we're all human, but there's these different all these different aspects of it, like facets on a diamond. All these different faces, all these different.
That's a big game.
It's huge.
Game. Yes, and I believe that's affected. This is not natural that we think that we are not of one whole. So why is that? We are all human beings. So why should we be different only because we speak different languages?
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, talking about this. Oh, it's more than different languages, though. It's more than different languages, because, like, I've got into I don't want to say arguments, but discussions with people, or like debates. Like, I don't see much. Like, personally, I don't think there's really differences in races, like blacks and whites and browns and yellows. Like, we all have melanin in our skin, just like different shades. Like 50 Shades of Gray. Like there's different shades of skin color, skin tone. But there are total differences in culture and nationalities, because of where we are born, where we're brought up. There's traditions involved and history involved, and that helps not manipulate, kind of form or construct kind of our character, personality. So I think I fall more in the camp of there's differences in cultures and nationalities than race. I saw someone, I think it was a comedian, that says race disappears when it comes to money. Like, when
Race
everybody's
disappears when it comes to money.
yeah, it's like when you're rich, you all become like the same race. Because he said that because here in America, well, not here because I'm not in America, but in America, one of the founders of the BLM movement bought a $1.4 million house in like LA white neighborhood. And she's like, BLM is like, Black Lives Matter, nothing to do with whites. And she's
Being
now in a
loud is enough. Money.
yeah, but
changes.
that's the thing, now, I mean, they've made billions of dollars. So she bought a $1.4 million house in LA. And so it's like, what happened to the movement? So a comedian made that point. It's like, yeah, when you're rich enough, there's no race. It's all green.
Yes. I see.
Anyways, so where have you lived? So you're from the western part of Iran.
Yes.
You said you lived 2 years in Iraq, and where else have you been? You've been to Europe, right?
Ukraine. Yes.
Ukraine's Eastern Europe, right? Western
Eastern
Asia, Eastern Europe.
Yes. Eastern Europe for 2 years. I was studying there, university, and I came back to my country again. And
So you've only lived in Iran, Iraq, and Ukraine?
Yes, but several different parts of Iran. Quite a big country.
Yeah, it is. Now, Iran, it only was called Iran it only adopted or changed the name of the country when, like in the 70s, right?
I think it's a long time that it is called Iran.
Has it been a long time? Maybe the 40s, or because it wasn't always Iran, right?
I haven't ever heard another name for it, even in history.
Persia?
Yeah. Persia is the same as Parsi and is the same as Iran in my language. This is only a translation. Really? Persia, yes. We don't call it Persia, we call it Iran, and even in the history texts. So this is only...
Really?
Yes.
Oh, because I was under the impression that it was always like Persia, the Persian Empire, and within the last 100 years, it changed to Iran.
This is something that I say I'm not quite sure about it, but I haven't ever heard another name for it, as I mentioned.
Oh.
But I think, and this is only a translation, because the Persian Empire and the Iran is the same.
Really?
And even in the history, yes, it has been regarded as Iran, even in the old texts.
In your old texts?
Yes.
But I mean, that could have been changed, right? By the ones in charge. You know what I mean? Like
yes, the government has been changing a lot,
That's my point.
The regime.
That's my point. That's my point, because you see what's happening in America, like within the last year, destroying statues, trying to rewrite history.
Maybe, but I'm not quite sure again about it, because even in the Curious the Great, I think it was the country name was Iran.
Interesting. So do you consider yourself Iranian, or do you consider yourself Persian?
None. I consider myself as a Kurdish guy.
So it goes even that. So it's like goes back even like more tribal than that. Like I'm a Kurd.
Yes.
That's
Kurd people, and the Kurdish residential area is divided between 4 countries: Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Turkey.
Yeah. So it's like right there in that corner. So it's in the western north corner of Iran. It's in the eastern north corner of Iraq. It's in the southern. But wait a second, I almost spoke Portuguese. It's the southeastern corner of Syria, and the southwestern corner of Syria, and the south eastern part of Turkey, right? If I get my geography correct.
Actually, exactly.
We have a question from Matt right here. He wants to know about
being a full teacher English in Iran.
Full time.
Yes, I'm a full-time English teacher. Actually, I work about 7 hours a day, and I myself study English. Yes. Is it low or high? How is
for
that?
me? And for me, it's like super low, because I work giving classes. It's about that, maybe less. But work, shit, man, I work all day.
No, I only work is teaching classes, giving classes.
Okay. All right.
And I study myself. I study Russian, and I study French too. So that takes time. to study
Nice.
languages.
It does. It does. It does. Matthew Picard, 1930. What does he say? 1935. Finn. I don't know what you're saying, Matthew. Are you saying that's when the name changed? I don't know what you mean by that. What does it say here? Has yeah, Matt knows. Finn's putting in those 12-hour days. Bro, I went to bed last night at about midnight, maybe around midnight, and I woke up this morning at 5:30. 5:30 I woke up. I went to bed late last night because I finished editing a video and I posted it on YouTube, but I scheduled it to release tomorrow. So those of you guys who are watching it, pay attention tomorrow. You got a new video coming out about auxiliary verbs. Talking about YouTube, you guys don't get it in Iran.
Yes, due to some political reasons, which are, I think, the worst.
Matthew says that yes, it was 1935 that the year that the name changed.
The name
so
of the
so I was right, because I was like within the last 100 years, because I'm not an expert in these things. Like I don't ever claim to be an expert on stuff like this, but I do love history. Like you can see behind my shoulder here, I'm about halfway through reading the documentary. The biography of Thomas Jefferson. I love history, American history, global history. So that was something that tell
about
me
this issue, which I'm just searching on the internet.
No problem.
It says that the Reza, the Shah of Iran, in the year 1959, just allowed to use both words, Iran and Persia, to be written officially, with no obstacles. But both have been working to regard this country named Iran or Persia the same in the Texas. But since that, using the word Iran wasn't legal only.
Interesting.
But that was rampant to call this country Iran, among people in the culture.
Interesting. That's really interesting. Now, talking about this, and we hit on the subject when I showed Matt's his sharing here. He shares another comment here. He says, Shah asked foreign delighted to use the Persian term Iran in diplomacy. I think that's what you were saying.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. But talking about this, so Iran, right? It's a totalitarian state, and I don't know if people understand this. It's a theocracy. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know, and this is why I like to bring someone like you on, kind of like you could say, quote unquote, my program, because my YouTube channel is just to help people be better communicators in the English language. That's my goal online. And when I do these lives, you can look back in the other lives I've done. I like to bring things that I find interesting that I can hash out and talk about, sometimes by myself. You're my second guest that I bring on, that I have brought on here. And I want to try to do more of this because I find things like what you bring so fascinating. So I don't know if people are aware of this, right? But there are lots of different kinds of governments, people know like the common three because of what's happening in the world now, right? Capitalism, communism, and socialism, right?
Yes.
But there are oligarchies, which I think America's kind of starting to transform into an oligarchy. If people don't understand what an oligarchy is, it's a group of people who run the show. And I'm starting to see the signs of like big tech and government merging together. Because if you see what's happening. Like, for example, where you live, you can't use YouTube. You couldn't even join this stream. Guys, you have no idea the difficulty Arvin had to jump on here. He had to get VPN. He had to jump through loops. And I'm so glad
a few websites like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. And
really? Yes. Twitter's blocked too?
Yes, because people post political issues.
Yeah, there. But I thought maybe it's blocked for you people, but the government leaders have access to it.
People, yes, the big name people have access to everything here, even everything.
They don't have the proxy filters.
No, no, no.
Wow, wow, wow.
And I don't know, it is prohibited for us, so it must be bad, it must be disadvantageful. So why do they use it?
Well, because it's bad for them. Because what people don't understand, and this is why I love history so much, because we learn so much from history. And I understand you're always going to get the person that says, well, history is written by the winner. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I saw somebody, I think I was watching a live the other day. Yeah, I think Matt will remember this. Michael Bunker in Primal Man's YouTube channel. He was talking about you can read pieces of work, literature from that time in history to get a feel of what was going on. Not necessarily like the history books, but things at that time to get a feel for it. The reason why a place like Iran, China, North Korea censor like this is because an educated people is a dangerous people.
Yes.
We have that expression, knowledge is power. And if you look at what's going on in the country that I love, it's being divided from the inside. It's being people are being manipulated on the emotional level, on their primal level. People are being entitled for things that they didn't earn. You have the right, and this is big time in Brazil, right? And this is kind of the subject of culture that I like to talk about. Brazil are big about, I have the right, I have the right, I have the right. Okay,
Yes.
but where's your duty? Where's your duty to earn that right? Like people, I do agree there's certain human rights. You have the right to freedom and happiness, to pursue happiness. You have the right to be in peace, nobody bother you. But other kinds of rights, I think, have to be earned. Does that make sense? Like
Yes, it makes sense. You know what? In some countries which there is no democracy, and only monocracy maybe, or monarchy, so you can't earn right because you will be killed, you will be hanged, you will be imprisoned. So what to do if you are just a few people and you are not armed, and the government is armed, quietly armed? So there is nothing to do actually, or to react very aggressively, like revolution or something.
That's how America started. The founding fathers would gather in the taverns. They would meet. They would plot. They used guerrilla warfare. Because and what people don't understand about American history itself is that it was a handful, quote unquote a handful, but it was a handful of rebels against the largest or the most powerful military in the world at that time.
Yes. And we had done this maybe in 40 or 41 years ago. We changed the regime, just deteriorated it.
Gabriel here's divided. Don't worry, Gabriel. I love it that you're here, but it's going to be archived. Don't worry. I'm going to save this live on my YouTube feed. But thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Yeah. So this is an interesting topic, right? So the censorship, why do they censor it? Because they don't want you guys learning or hearing things outside.
There are a few reasons. Okay. First of all, it's an Islamic country, strictly ruled by Islamic rules.
So like I said, your country is a totalitarian theocracy.
Yes.
So totalitarian government has total control, and it's a religious-based government, a theocracy, like theology.
Yes. And most importantly, there is something called hijab in Islam, which women must be covered up.
Hijab is the clothing, right?
Yes, the clothing. You must be covered up, especially women. Yes.
But covered up is not completely, because I know a lot of Iranian women, and they wear just the like the shawl, like the head covering.
Yes.
They're not covered up.
No, not covering up like the face, but not only the face, but whole of your body. You can't be nude anyway.
Sure. No, they gotta cover up from their wrist to their ankles.
Yes.
And their head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And as YouTube has some nudity, maybe called,
soft porn.
Yes, soft porn.
Is that the reason why?
Officially, and something they announced this is the reason, but actually this is because it can be a field to activate like against them politically, and they are afraid of this, so they
Oh,
find a pretext to, they find a pretext to filter it, or maybe to deprive us from having this right to connect Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
that's so interesting. I have, like I said, I have quite a few friends, followers from Iran. I'm in some WhatsApp groups, right? People from all over the world. And one of my friends, quote unquote, I would consider like a friend, like an online friend. She's a model. She's a model in Iran. And I think it's interesting, right? Because when she's in public, like all women in public, they have to wear the
Yes,
head
hijab,
the head covering everything.
scarf.
But she's taking photos like in a studio, and it's like almost no different than like photos you see in a magazine. I'm thinking that's interesting.
Yes, you can
And
do
it's
anything in your
there.
private
It's
life.
but it's
Okay,
but
you
it's
can.
but it's she's a model. So it's not, I mean it's indoors, but the pictures are I don't know
You
exactly what they
know,
use the pictures
yes,
for.
anything here. Okay, anything here is allowed. Unofficially is allowed. You know, till you talk about politics, until
Uh,
do something against the government, and then this is the red line. But anything
uh,
unofficially you do is fine, and go be with yourself. But no politics. Do nothing regarding with politics.
why? Like what are they so afraid of? Like you know,
Maybe another revolution or
but if you
something.
think about it though, that is like what you could say the quote unquote the gold standard of freedom is the freedom of speech. And I've had to educate some Americans and teenagers what freedom of speech means, because people think that freedom of speech means you can say whatever you want. That's not true. Like I can't threaten you because, like I said, I love American history, and here in Brazil, I have given some classes on U.S. history. Like I said, I'm not graduated in it. I enjoy it. It's I do know some things about it. But we have like our country, like my country is supposed to be a country of laws, right?
Mhm.
Where there's no particular person who runs the show. And unfortunately, there's so much corruption now, even in America, things don't really work as they should. But America has, from its very beginning, when people don't understand it, our first government was a loose coalition of states. After the revolution, after the American Revolution was won, there was a loose alliance. There was the first kind of official government was called the Articles of Confederation,
Yes.
and that was a loose alliance between the 13 states. I have here this banner of like all the flags from American history, from the very first flag, from the current flag, and each star, I'm pretty sure everybody knows, represents the states, right? Every star's a
Mm.
state.
Yes.
So in the beginning, it was 13 states, but people don't realize is like when America became a sovereign nation, it wasn't a nation. It was like an alliance of 13 little nations. Like each state was a sovereign nation that ran itself. And they wanted Washington to be the president of it, but he was like, screw that. I'm not going to be a president of what? An alliance of just 13 little mini countries? No, that's not going to happen. So they had I forget how many years, and like I said, my memory's foggy on this, but they had no. Matt says 13 colonies. Yeah, that was 13 colonies until they built up to the
Mm-hmm.
revelation. Then it was states. They divided into states, um, and so after the revolution and America was sovereign, the government was built on the Articles of Confederation, like I said, but it wasn't strong. See, we were in debt, and I say we as an American, we were in debt to the French because they lent us their navy. They gave us money. We were in debt to the Netherlands because they lent us money too. And so, wars cost money. And so they wanted Washington to be president. He's like, not like this. So I think it was about 9 years later, my memory's foggy, about 9 years later, they had ratification. So they ratified the Articles of Confederation. They created the Constitution, which we still have today, the same Constitution. They've only added amendments to them. But at the beginning of the foundation of the ratification, when they had the Constitution, they immediately put in what are known as the Bill of Rights, which are the first 10 amendments. And that is what makes America, till this day, unique compared to every other country in the world. America was an experiment, like a country that was actually run by the people, for the people. Now, this is lost on people nowadays. Like, you look at politicians and they think that we work for them. I would be like, no, man, that's not how it works. Well, things change because, in my opinion, people got lazy.
Yes.
People got lazy. You know, that's what happens when you got too much comfort and too much, you know, like life is kind of, it's kind of hard. It's like kind of supposed to be hard. You know, you're supposed to work to live.
Over tranquility corrupts.
Yeah. You know, you can become passive, and then you neglect your responsibility. You kind of shuffle the responsibility to somebody else, and then they get too big. And this is what's happened to my country.
Yes,
you look at these corrupt people, and they're now forcing Americans who are free, quote unquote free, lock in, stay in. They're arresting people for opening up their business. They're arresting people for not wearing a mask. Like, what the? This is not why the country's like. That's not how it was meant to be. You know, so
I guess you are talking about something which can be regarded as not something important in my country, since we didn't have our basic freedoms even that you are talking about, you know, being directed for a mask. You know, this is something that can't be, you know, understood by people from here, actually. Yeah, you see.
And the funny thing is, you say that is because I think, and this is no offense to my lovely brothers and sisters who are Americans and even watching this video in this chat, but I think many, not all, I could say maybe most immigrants who legally immigrate to America, they appreciate it more than people who are born there. Who are born there. You're right, because they take the people who are born there and who have always had it. They just do not know how fragile.
Take it for granted.
They take it for granted. They do not know how fragile and how precious it is. Because going back to why I talked about the history of America and the Constitution and the Declaration, or the Bill of Rights, is because this is what separates America from the rest of the world. Because this document of what our laws are based from is what it doesn't. How should I say it? It doesn't give us our rights. Our rights are God-given. It protects our rights. What people don't understand is the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, it's not to restrain the citizen, it's to restrain the government. You see, so just talking about the first right, which you don't have, the very first amendment to the Constitution, it protects 5 rights. And I'm so curious, and who in my audience, who in the chat knows what the 5 rights the First Amendment protects. It protects, you know this one, Arvin. We're talking about it. What is the first right? What is the first right?
I don't know, to speak.
Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech.
That's one of the first. It protects freedom of
action. Religion.
Freedom of religion. You have the freedom to practice religion, and government cannot infringe on that right. It protects the freedom of the press, which the press now have just become an arm of the government. They don't push. They were hard on Trump and they're softball on Biden. You know, it protects. You have the right to petition government for grievances. So it's like petition and to kick out a politician. Yeah, I said press. Oh, Matt's there. And no, Matt put here the right to protest. That's technically not what it says. What it says is the right to peaceably assemble. Now, that's what it says. It says to peaceably assemble. What does that mean? Okay, yes, it means you have the right to protest. You have the right to go out and get together and protest something. But it means to assemble. It means you can get together. So this shit, this what's going on in my country, saying you have to lock in, you have to go in. They do not have the right. People, and this is okay. You know I'm a Christian. Many people know I'm a Christian. The Bible itself says through the prophet, I forget which prophet it was, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
Mhm.
My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And I look at my country and I seeing it crumble for a lack of knowledge and a lack of cojones, right? Lack of balls too, to stand up. So I see what's happening. I know some things, and that's why I love talking. And I'm sorry if I'm talking too much. It's just something it gets my goat, right? It gets me going.
Enjoy.
But what you have never had, we have always had, and we don't take advantage of it, and we don't appreciate it. And the right, your freedom of speech doesn't mean you can say whatever you want. Threatening your life, threatening you, is taking away the Fourth Amendment. That means the Fourth Amendment is like you have the right to be secure within your person. So if you're threatening
Let me tell you
me,
something.
tell me.
Mentioning the word freedom of speech constitutionally, by the constitutional law, yes, we are having our freedom of speech, but we don't have our freedom after speech. This is very important, that we have freedom of our speech, but after that,
Oh,
no one can
be
guarantee that.
be prepared. Be prepared to suffer the consequences.
Yeah,
That
it
was
has
good.
ramifications. Abysmal
That,
ramifications will come from it.
that was good, Arvin. That was really good. I like that. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what the freedom of speech means. It doesn't mean you have the right to say whatever you want. It means you have the right to have your opinion.
Yes.
I have the right to say, like Matt says here, right to protest. Police brutality is one being added by the progressives. Well, you have the right to protest anything you want, because it comes from the right to peaceably assemble. And what people don't understand, how you do this is you get a permit, you schedule it, you set it up, and you protest. You don't go around burning buildings down, beating people, dragging them out of their cars. And the police, I saw a news clip of police calling it, a police captain calling it riots. And then the media said, no, you can't do that. You can't call it riots. What the hell?
You are talking about protesting in the streets, and I can talk about speaking your own language, your mother tongue, inside the house of yours. Is forbidden in Turkey for Kurdish people. Kurdish
Really?
people cannot speak Kurdish in their own house.
How does the government know? Do they have microphones everywhere?
No, they don't have microphones everywhere, but if you come to streets, okay, and you talk in Kurdish, you will be arrested, you will be annoyed, you will be harassed. Yes. And even if you claim that you are a Kurd and you are not of the people of the Turkish people of Turkey, everything will be just robbed away from you. So this is
Wow.
even
Now, is this always has it always been like this, or was this after the failed coup attempt?
Kurdish people and Turkish people have been fighting with each other for a long time. Maybe since 200 years ago, I
Wow.
guess. Not to be exact, but approximately 200 years ago. And now, which the country Turkey has the government, power, army, and arm. They are harassing the Kurdish people living there, which I think are more than millions of people.
Now, is one of the ways that they're able to catch people from speaking Kurdish in their house, is it the same as like what's happening in the West as far as the propaganda that is pumped through media to shame people, to call out your neighbors, like, oh, call the police. Oh, my neighbor has company over at their house.
Yes.
So you're calling in your neighbors like they would do in like they're in Germany, like, oh, they're hiding Jews, and does that happen there? So like someone calls, say, oh, I hear them speaking Kurdish in that house next door.
Exactly.
Wow.
Little rats living everywhere, in countries like they don't have democracy. They have
Matt,
one single power to rule it.
wow, that's
And
amazing.
even in my country, which is a little bit more open, okay, um, to maybe until a few years ago, we couldn't publish any Kurdish book, even about the literature. Yes, because they would regard it as, political, standings against the government. I don't
Wow.
know why, but there are some very simple issues that people are robbed from.
I have a question from Matt here.
What are the punishments for using YT? What is
You-
YT?
YouTube.
YouTube. There is no punishment, but you cannot access it easily. You can, download some VPNs or even buy some VPNs from government and access it, which your internet, will be consumed maybe 6 times more, and you need to
I
pay
wouldn't.
more.
I wouldn't trust a VPN
Yeah,
sold
sure.
by
Sure.
the totalitarian theocracy
Yeah,
because
sure.
it's probably like a Trojan horse. You download the VPN and now they have complete access to your system,
Access to your data,
right?
actually.
Like I
Yes,
wouldn't. I
yes,
wouldn't
for
trust
sure.
that. I'm.
For
I'm
sure.
not. I'm naturally. I'm naturally. How can you say like? Like untrusting. Like there's a word I can't. I'm so tired of saying it in my day right now. But I'm. I don't trust easily this kind of stuff. Like I'm very when I created what I created, I did so like for example, my private life is my private life. I rarely share things about my private life just because I'm putting myself out there. I don't need to get my wife and kids the spotlight on them. Does that make sense? Yeah. Look, Matt has the same. He had the sketchy. Yeah, he has the same point of view as a soul, but it's sketchy. Like
Yes, this
to
is
me,
something
it's
that
a
is
Trojan
happening here.
horse, man. It's a Trojan horse. Like, oh yeah, you want a VPN? You want to check out? Yeah, I got a VPN for you on a
Yeah.
discount.
You know what? Sometimes for many people, this is only a Hobson's choice. There is no other choice to choose. So, you need.
No, Matthew's wanting my social security number. Ha 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 ha.
Social
Yeah.
security.
You know what's so funny? Yeah, because that's my government identity, right? You know what's so funny? Here in Brazil, we have a similar like number. It's called the CPF. We have a CPF number here, so it's like your government identity number, and they want to use it everywhere. Like you go shopping, you buy this, you buy that. They're always asking you, "Do you want to put your CPF? Do you want your CPF?" No, I
And what
don't
is
need my
that for?
exactly. For me, they want to just track me. They want to know, okay, so Mr. Finn shops here. Mr. Finn buys this. Mr. Finn buys that. They don't need to know. Like seriously, like I'm not
Intelligence
parent.
agency
Yeah,
strategy. Yes.
yeah. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. Now I'm not paranoid, but I'm not an idiot either. Like they don't need to. I don't need my CPF there. And there's a few places that I shop at. If you buy a large quantity, it's like mandatory. So I'll just give my wife's. I give my wife's VP, because she's Brazilian and she's
Yeah.
not she's
Native.
not as exposed as I am. Does that make sense?
Yes. 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 The focus is, more on you.
I just don't want it. You don't like. Well, because I'm much more exposed. I'm online. I'm very vocal. People who know me know like I'm not politically correct.
Was it
I'm
easy for you to get your permanent residency of Brazil?
Yeah, it was because I was previously married to a Brazilian when I came here. So I met my wife after 2 years, after I separated from my ex for 2 years. So the fact that when I came here to Brazil, I was already married to my ex, and through that marriage, I got a permanent visa. And then
Mhm.
after making the move here on the permanent visa, because visas have expiration dates, right? It's like a couple years
Yes,
they
yes.
last. So I got a permanent visa, and then after making the move here, I got a residency. I have where's my wallet? I don't know where it is right now, but I have like you could say a Brazilian green card,
Yeah, I
and
see, I see.
right. So when I moved back to America, it's still valid for like 2 years, but if I want to keep it valid. I have to come back every 2 years just to kind of step on the soil and then leave again. And then it's valid. It's valid. But one of the advantages of being in the position that I'm in a very large, small city. Does that make sense? Like I live in a capital city, so it's the capital of the state, but it's not a huge city. It's not like Rio or Sao Paulo. It's not a huge metropolis, right? It's actually a perfect vacation spot, Arvin. I mean, I'm still waiting for you to come on out and hang out in Brazil, bro.
I really hope so.
I think they'll accept the Iranians more than Iranians will accept an American. But what was my point? Oh yeah, so it's a small city, but it's the capital, so it's a big city, right?
I know it's a small city with good facilities.
Yeah. It's a capital city, so and it's like a tourist destination for many people in Brazil, like in the south, where they come here because like it's summer all year round. Now, unfortunately, like right now, we're getting in the rainy season, so it's just raining all the time, off and on. But my point was that being here for 12 years and teaching for, I'm going on 11 years now, I have made the right friends. Like I've made the right connections. Like I've got friends in the federal police. You know what I mean? Like I got friends in the federal police. So if I have any issues with my legality, residency, anything, I talk to them. I got friends in the military police. If I have any problems, I got friends in the civil police. I got friends who are judges. I've got friends who are doctors, surgeons, owners of hospitals. Like I have insurance, but if something I need done doesn't cover my insurance, I get discounts. I mean, I got all the right connections. Does that make sense? Like
this is really good.
It's like it's the best. We say in America, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yes, actually.
Matt. Hold on. Matt's saying you and him, Matt, are gonna come out and visit. Dude, come on, Matt. I'd be happy to.
Sure.
Hey, let me ask you something. So, Arvin, you're practicing Muslim, so you have dietary restrictions, right?
Yes.
So you can't eat shellfish and stuff.
You're talking about you,
shrimp.
Me, myself,
yeah, you
Muslim people.
Both.
Okay, look, there are too many people here, which they are officially and by the ID card are Muslims, but do not regard them as Muslims. So.
So
the
like
the only religion allowed in Iran is Islam. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you are a Muslim and you change your religion, you will be executed.
Yeah, they'll kill me.
Yes. Okay.
I got Christianity tattooed on my arm, man.
No. You have been Christian at the first. If you are a Muslim right now, you change. Okay, then you will be executed.
So they won't execute me for being a Christian. They would execute me if I were Muslim and converted to Christianity.
Yes. But there are too many Jews and
I don't want to get you killed, man, but I'm going to not stop evangelizing to you, brother.
No, hopefully I won't get killed, but maybe intelligence agency is sleeping right now. I'm not watching this video.
That's all right. I'm not doing evangelism now, but I'm not gonna stop. Anyways, so I have my buddy here, Cicero. He's like, we live where people come to vacation. It's true. Like where I live, you got some of the best beaches. And ask about the dietary things because some of the shellfish, the shrimp out here, the crabs, it's phenomenal. Look, I got a crab ashtray from when I'm smoking my cigars. Look at this crab, man. It's a crab ashtray.
And this is not forbidden for Muslim people.
Really? Oh, it's forbidden. It's forbidden for Jews.
Yes, it's forbidden for Jews, but seafood, anything from sea is available.
Oh, so you can eat shrimp.
Yes, everything. You cannot
you can eat pork. You can't eat pork.
No pork, no wine, no alcoholic beverages.
That's bullshit. I know Iranians who drink alcohol.
Yes, I have it here.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna have fun. I don't want you to get in trouble. Bro. So you'll have fun, man. So come on out, bro. We'll go out and we'll eat some good stuff. I'll spare you the pork, but the shrimp and the seafood here, man. Oh yeah, he knows what I'm talking about. Tripa is fabulous. You can't eat it though. No, he can see suru. He can eat the beef tripa.
What is tripa?
It's fried. It's fried intestines.
Uh-huh.
It's delicious. It sounds disgusting, but it's delicious.
No, we have it here actually.
Do you? But pork,
Yes,
but
yes.
beef or lamb,
Beef.
and lamb and
Beef,
goat.
Yes.
Yeah,
And this is very, it has a little stinky, like, it's a little stink, but this is very delicious, I guess. Ramadan.
It's happening now, right?
Yes, this is the second day of Ramadan. And Ramadan is a month which Muslim people do not eat. They fast during the day from the morning to the evening, which I do it because I work out and I do not keep fast. No, this,
So you're not like a hardcore practicing Muslim. Like you believe in the
no. Anyway,
yeah.
me myself, no.
Good.
To some extent, my family, yes, but me myself, no.
That's okay. So good. All right. Here he says here, I need a liver, Finn. You got the hookup. The list is long here. No, so I might like one of my students is the owner of the top hospital in the region, so I could let you know. I mean, I got like my wife had selective surgery, elective surgery, and I got it probably like half off a normal price just because of friends, right? Beef tripa, yummy. It is good. I like the pork better because it's smaller, because the intestines of beef is much bigger. So whenever I buy it, and if they don't have the pork tripa, it's pronounced tripa with an A. I'll get the beef one, but I ask for the small intestines. It's delicious. I know it sounds disgusting, but it is really good. Like here you fry it up, and then you sprinkle some lime on it, and a tempered flour that's called farofa. It's made from cassava. No, it's made from a cassava root. Because my brain is thinking in Portuguese, macaxeira. Where I live, it's called macaxeira. In the south of Brazil, it's called mandioca. But in English, I think it's called cassava. It's a root, like a potato. They make a flour out of it, and it's seasoned. And you eat that with it's freaking awesome. I could sit all day. I have hot sauce right here. I'll sprinkle some hot sauce on it.
You like it so much.
Yeah, this is my favorite one, chipotle. I love it. Chipotle hot sauce. Right. I love it. Anyways, I'm just like, come on, man. Come out here to Brazil, and we'll have a good old time. So what are the things we're talking about? Because we're talking about these cultural differences. Like let's look at food. Let's look at food, right? Because food, even between America and Brazil, we have huge differences in how we eat. Cultural differences. And I want to know your take, being Kurdish, living in Iran, living a couple years in Iraq. Were there differences between Iraq and Iran? How do you
very close with nuances?
How about Turkey?
The same.
Ukraine. Yes. How about Ukraine?
Totally different.
So what was totally different in how people like the mannerisms when they eat?
Here, I don't know why, but people tend to eat more. It's more. It's like American people. I had a few American friends in Iraq, and
or fat.
They are eating not in average mood like us. Okay, and if you come here and order a plate, maybe it makes you full completely. But when you go in Europe, everything is tiny.
Yeah,
McDonald's is just like this. It's one bite, man.
No, Brazil, man. Brazil, it's big on what we call rodízio. Rodízio in English, if you were to translate it, it means to make the rounds. And like, what does that mean? All you can eat. All you can eat.
That is really cool. I mean,
it's dude, and I'm telling you, bro, the all you can eat barbecue is freaking out of this world. You go to the salad bar that's self-service, so you get up and you put on your plate all the different sides and salads that you want, and then you sit at your table and they come and they come and they come and they come with meat,
And
all
caters
kinds of
for all
meat.
appetites. Yes.
Man, I'll spend hours there just eating, drinking a beer. That's one of my biggest problems. Like, I'm kind of overweight. I'm kind of overweight, and I can't really exercise anymore because I'm having problems with my right shoulder again.
Yes, you know.
But anyways, I got to control my mouth because it's just so good. Now, tell me if this is the same or different for where you live compared to the difference between America and Brazil. Oh, yeah, Cicero, I was going to mention this, but he asked the question before I can get to it.
Eat pizza with fork and knife like us, bro. With fork and knife? I
Weird,
would
right?
attack it with hand and mouth.
Thank you. That's how Americans do it.
You know?
That's how Americans do it. We take the slice and we eat it. We actually,
Yeah.
Americans take the slice and we like fold it in half. Like our finger goes in the middle and the middle finger and the thumb kind of fold it like that and you eat it.
Yes.
And the reason why Cicero asks this is because one of the biggest differences between the way Americans eat food and Brazilians will not touch their food with their hands. They don't touch their food. It's considered like rude, or disgusting. Well, one of the things that I often tell, and this is no offense to my Brazilian audience. I love Brazil. It's accepted me and the culture is wonderful, but this is really weird about, like, for example, if they're going to eat a sandwich or a hamburger, they'll pick it up with two fingers and they'll wrap it with a napkin and then they'll eat the hamburger.
And let me tell you something.
Here,
I'm not talking about Persian people. I'm talking about Kurdish people, my tribe. You must eat with your hands, even the rice. Okay, you put it like this, and you.
I know the Indians do that. I know the Indians do that. In living in America, I was an electrician, and I've done work at some Indian people's homes, and I've always had a knack for befriending people, and they would invite me over for dinner and stuff. And they're vegetarians. I don't know if many people know this, but the majority of Indians are vegetarians because Hinduism, they believe in karma, they believe in reincarnation. So they don't eat.
Gandhi the Great.
Yeah, they don't eat cow because that could be Uncle Rashid or something. Or they don't eat pig because that could be Aunt. I don't know Indian names, but Rashida something. They don't eat animals because they believe it's their reincarnated loved ones. So they eat just vegetarian. Like, they're not vegan, because I do think they do eat some animal products like milk and stuff. Like milk and cheese and stuff and eggs. I don't know about eggs. Now that I'm thinking about it, but I do think that there's some dairy products in their food. But they're vegetarian, and that's why I think one of the reasons why their food is so seasoned, like spicy and seasoned. There's lots of flavor in Indian food, and they eat it with their hands.
And the question arises: do they enjoy their life because they do not eat hamburger? Do they enjoy their life?
Well, how do you know that they don't enjoy life? How do they know? I understand your question. But how do they know what they're missing if they never tried to miss it? Does that make sense?
Yes. Something that you haven't ever experienced, you have no affinity to do it.
So how do they know that they're not missing something they never had to miss in the first place?
Yes, I see it.
Like, I totally get you. Like, one of the things living in Brazil, the first few years, I thought, man, Brazilians make an incredible hot dog, but their hamburgers were shit. Their hamburgers were garbage. But within the last 5 years, 6 years here, they have really good, like, artisanal hamburgers, like delicious, succulent. Someone got their act together, right? On how, when it comes to making hamburgers here. What does it say? That's why Brazil and US have some of the highest obesity rates in the world, excessive portions. Yeah, that's true. But Brazil only recently, you still have a lot more healthier people here than in America because the lifestyle is more outdoors because it's tropical beach and weather and exercising. Whereas America, they're just lazy, unfortunately.
Yes, I see
They're
it.
just what does he say here? Don't Indians? Yeah, they do avoid. But that's Muslims, not just Indians. Indians avoid Indians. Don't confuse Indians with the Muslims because even though some Indians are Muslim, the biggest religion in India is Hinduism and
It is
Buddhism. And Buddhism,
yes,
right?
Buddhism. Yes,
Yeah, so it's Hinduism, Buddhism. There are Muslims and a very small percentage of Christians. So Indians, it's not that they don't have a problem touching pigs. In fact, Indians, and Arvin, you can maybe correct me if I'm wrong because you're closer to that section of the world, but Indians, they actually live with animals. Like there's monkeys and rats everywhere. Like because of reincarnation, they just
this
think
is
that's
very rampant. This situation is very rampant in India, I believe.
right. Like there's monkeys everywhere. I've seen videos with like babies eating food on the floor and rats sharing it with them. Like what the serious? Like that's not very hygienic. So Indians they live with the animals and pigs and stuff because that's like Uncle Bob or Aunt Sue or something.
Talking about hygienics and hygiene, a travel I had to India, finding toilets in every single home is not something so rampant there.
Really?
Really? In
And,
some,
like an indoor flushing toilet?
yes, there's not something very rampant in the some parts which people are, poverty can be filled. Poverty
So
can be filled.
do they have outhouses?
Yes, public toilets maybe.
Really?
Yes. I'm talking not about the, luxurious streets
Of
in
course.
up
Yeah, of
markets, but
course.
there are some bad situation like
Hey, Sister has a pretty interesting question here.
I just true that using the left hand to it is considered rude. Haven't ever heard about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it true? Now this is my question. Is it true that if you eat at somebody's house or at a restaurant, you are expected to burp to show that the food was good?
No.
Maybe I'm confusing that with like Saudi Arabia or something or some
But let me
other.
tell you something about this
Tell me
question. I can give you another
about this question here.
Yes, about this question here. Entering the toilet with the left leg is something which is not advisable in my country. I don't know why.
Really?
And getting out with the right, or maybe I don't know, maybe vice versa. But there is something like this.
Really?
Yes, and this is a religious.
Yeah,
advice.
I was about to say something and kind of in the same like in the same area of Sisuda's question here. I knew a guy. I didn't know him. Like he was a guy that I met because I remember going to some training here in Brazil, and he was a practicing Buddhist, right? Little guy, skinny guy, because right, Buddhists they have no world. Like I don't know if people understand Buddhism, but there's like you have no ties, no worldly possessions, and you don't eat. Everything's vanity. It's just you eat because you have to eat, things like this. So he's a skinny guy, and I remember during the break he would have his hand in a sack. He would have a hand in a sack with the finger sticking out, right?
Oh, what was that for?
So I asked him. I was like, and he would walk around and you would see like his fingers in the sack moving around and this one finger sticking out of the sack. Like I'm trying to see if I have a sack. Let's say I'll get my pencil case. So I got my pencil case, right? So he'd have his hand in the sack with the finger sticking out. And like the sack had a special hole in it where the finger could come out of. And I was like, what is that? Because I'm a curious person and sometimes I don't know my boundaries. There's nothing wrong with asking a question. And he said, these are my prayer beads, right? He had his prayer beads in his sack, right? I know some religions have prayer beads, like Catholics have the rosary. Muslims have prayer beads also, if I'm not mistaken.
Like
Yeah. It's like to keep track on your prayers. So he had his prayer beads, and I'm like, so what's with the fingers sticking out? He's like, well, because you're right-handed and you use that hand to wipe your butt with. So he
It
did,
must
you
not be
know,
inside.
yeah. So it can't, that finger, I guess, because he uses one finger to wipe your butt with it. He can't use it to touch his prayer beads. And I was like, makes no sense to me. Why don't you use your left hand to pray then or something?
Yes.
Like, do you
yes,
wrap?
yes.
Like I was thinking to myself, do you like take toilet paper and just wrap it around your finger and like
Do it.
clean your butt? Like, it was so
Yeah.
bizarre. But it was fascinating at the same time. That's why I had to ask him. So that question reminded me of that Buddhist guy. That's weird. What happened to Arvin's? Yeah, that's that right. I had the same question.
You know, I used to have a long hairstyle, but
Dude,
I don't
and
know.
Matt, I don't mean to cut off Arvin here, but when him and I have been talking about this live for probably about 2 days, 3 days. I was putting feelers out there, people that I know around the world who wanted to get together with me and try to combine this. And Arvin, I was trying to contact him for like a day or two because I always can count on Arvin. And he was down to do this. I was like, great. So I was like, I'm going to take your thumbnail. Like I was going to take your profile picture on WhatsApp, or if you want to send me a picture. And he sent me a picture. And both pictures he sent me had this luscious hair.
Yes,
And
yes, I like
the
it.
the Arvin that we see today is the Arvin that I met 2 years ago, more or less. Short hair, kind of a beard. I've seen the beard come and go with Arvin. So when he sent me the picture for the thumbnail, I was like, wow, Arvin, I like the look. Even my wife liked the look. My wife is trying to get me to grow my hair back. And I'm like, no, that's okay. I'm okay with the long hair. And then when Arvin jumps on here, I get this.
This
This-
style was for a couple of months ago, but nowadays it's too hot, warm.
Yeah, I
That
understand.
was really annoying somehow.
Well, you know what's funny? And I like that Matt
It's like-
asked that. I like how Matt asked that because, like, for example, when I make my thumbnails for my videos and stuff, I literally try to use the same clothes that I'm going to use in the video in my thumbnail. So it's like when does that make sense? Because I don't want it to be a surprise. So it's like when I created the thumbnail, I looked at like my wardrobe. It's like, okay, what shirt am I going to wear in the video? So then I'll make sure I'll use the picture that has that shirt. So like this shirt here, this shirt's in the thumbnail. It's in the thumbnail. Even like when I do my tongue twisters and everything, I make sure that I use the same because I mean, maybe it's because I studied photography and I'm a big, maybe it's kind of like I've never been diagnosed, but it's like maybe OCD. If people don't know OCD, it's like obsessive compulsive. Like I like symmetry. I like straight pictures. I like patterns. And if something doesn't connect, it drives me crazy. Like what? So when Arvin jumped on today, I'm like, what the hell happened? Where's the hair?
Yeah, the hair is gone. Maybe turning up out of the blue sometimes.
And I noticed a new tattoo on your arm. I don't remember that tattoo.
Really? Which one?
That one.
That one. I really like this one. Okay.
But I don't remember any of these tattoos.
Really?
I don't
And
remember.
tattoos are forbidden in Islam too.
That's what I was gonna say because what I understand from Islam, because Islam and Judaism are both Abrahamic religions, right? They both come from Abraham. And I know that Muslims revere or they respect the prophets of the Old Testament.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, sure.
So the Mosaic laws, right? When Moses wrote the laws, you see in the book of Leviticus, all of these things like Muslims can't do, the same as Jews.
Yes, this is very close.
Yeah, very close. Like I knew about the pork and stuff. Oh, look, my wife is here. She thinks your hair is much better. I'm shocked. Because I could have swore she liked your hair from the thumbnail because she wants me to grow my hair out again. And as much as I love my wife, it doesn't really fit me anymore. I kind of like my shorter look. I like my whites coming out again. Yeah, I like my white. She doesn't like my white hair. She wants me to dye my hair, but I don't like it.
No,
I
no,
like
no, 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 no.
I like to be more natural.
This
I
is
kind
very
of I
gentle.
kind of miss
This
my
color.
beard. I miss my beard, but she doesn't like my beard. Yes, this is Mrs. Finn. Yes, this is Mrs. Finn. That's my wife.
You seem much younger without beard.
I know, and I understand, and my wife has a good point. She has a good point, and it's better for my image, my online image, because as much as I hate to admit it, first impressions do mean a lot, and how you present yourself. My wife,
And
no beers,
having beer, having
no
birds,
beers, no
having
beers.
birds here is dealing with to be strictly religious. I don't know if it's the same there, but no.
No, not in the states. Not in the states. The United States United States. It's going through a realignment, big time,
Mm-hmm.
big time. And my wife thanks you very much for saying about the no beard, looking younger. Yeah, and I agree with my wife. I don't think I'm gonna grow a beard again until my wife feels like when we're older, like when my kids are older, and I could actually. Because the problem with my beard, if you guys look at my older YouTube videos, there's a lot of white, especially in the chin.
Yes.
A lot of white in the beard. And people think it's because I'm old. I'm not old. It's just genetics, Genetics are a
Yes.
bitch.
It's not, but you are more gentle, beautiful, handsome without birds. This is goal.
Whatever. I like to be a barbarian roughneck. I'm a brute by nature. but I understand. I understand the argument. I understand what my wife says. I get it. And I know that being online, interacting like this, that being beardless, trying to take care of my appearance as much as possible. I know it's shallow, but it's part of the image. It's not fake. Like I don't do anything to be fake, but I understand that it's part of it, and so it's okay. I'll probably let my beard grow out again later. Like when my kids are older, when my kids are much older, I will, I'll probably let it grow out again because I like it. I like it. I remember when I had the beard, I used to stroke it. It was like, I don't know. I liked it. Why do you have a beard? You're so anti-beards. What the hell?
Beard, not in the mood to shave it up. Just
Yeah.
that,
My wife, she's downstairs in the bedroom probably after putting the kids to sleep. You know what's funny? Not shave it up. So you're being lazy about it. I remember when I had a beard, and you could ask my wife, I was I sculpted it. Like I was like my father. My father he's always had a mustache or a beard. And I remember he would say, if a man has facial hair, it has to be well groomed.
Wow.
So you're being lazy. I remember I used to shave my cheeks.
Yeah,
I used to shave my cheeks.
I'm too lazy
I used to
about
shave my neck, and I used to
Mhm.
make sure it was clean around my mouth. Yeah, about every other day I would do it.
it.
Yeah.
I'm lazy. I'm lazy about this. Seriously.
No, my wife wants me to use glasses right now. No, not right now. She likes it when I wear my glasses. My glasses are when I'm working. I'm not working right now. I'm working, but I'm not working. I'm not creating. When I'm creating stuff, I wear my
Get it.
glasses. What does he say? And yes, I'm rock in 7 months salt and pepper beard. Yeah, that's how mine was. Mine was very white in the chin and kind of brown, not brown, blackish on top. Anyways, well, let's get back because I don't want to stay too long. We've already been an hour, 20 minutes, and I know you're going to start your day. Do you have a busy day? You're going to give lots of classes today?
Yes, I have a class of 4 hours. One class
4
for
hours.
4 hours. Yes.
One class for 4
One
hours?
class for 4 hours. Yes. This is an IMAX.
You're giving a class?
Yes, I'm giving a class for 4 hours. This is a one class, private class, and that is really hard.
How often do you give this class?
Once a week.
Okay. But wow, 4 hours. No break?
Maybe breaks for 5 minutes at the middle.
Is it a class? Is it like a class in person or a virtual class?
No, it's online class.
4 hours?
4 hours. 4 damn hours, And I teach.
What is it for?
You know IMAT, International Medicine Administering Test for Italy universities. And she wants to take that exam, and I'm helping her.
Is it? I'm not familiar with that exam. I'm familiar with IELTS, Cambridge exams, and
No, this is
TOEFL.
about the. No, this is not.
Medicine.
Yes, like
So it's not an English
biology,
exam.
chemistry. The exam is in English, but it's math, physics, chemistry, logical reasoning, and biology.
Wow.
Yes.
And are you teaching all of those subjects, or are you teaching the English part
I'm
of those
teaching the
subjects?
English part of
Okay.
the subject,
I was gonna
yes.
say, wow, you're like way overqualified, man.
Thank you, thank you.
Ah. No, I would say you're way overqualified, but you're not. You're same as me. English.
Yeah, only English, but I teach the logical reasoning part, critical thinking and
Yeah.
logical reasoning, which
Dude, man, how many people need things like this nowadays?
I
Like,
really love it.
so do
This
I.
subject is amazing.
So do I. Like people, like I go nuts. Like I retain it. I retain it fairly well, I think. But I seriously go nuts when I look at people. Like I don't even watch TV. I have no patience for TV anymore. I don't watch TV. I don't watch the news. I don't pay attention to the bullshit lies. Because people are so emotional. They don't have. No one uses critical thinking or logic anymore. No one can. When people open up their mouth and garbage comes out of it, and when you bring them to the logical conclusion of the thought process, they get mad at you. You're a racist. You're homophobic. You're whatever.
You are
Like,
not understanding my feelings.
yeah, you're not understanding my feelings. Like, no, I'm taking your argument to its logical conclusion. Can't you see where it's going? Like, I'm no expert on these things, but I do believe in critical thinking, and I do think it's so important to think for yourself and to look at information and analyze it and think of things logically. I'm no student of logic. I would love to take logic classes. I only know what I know from reading books and experiencing from different cultures. Let me ask you that. Speaking of that, in your opinion, how important is it to travel and know other places and cultures?
I believe this is the most demanding and the most grateful thing that you can do within your life, because you know the travel you make in any age will give you in a look to the world, different one. Okay, and you can understand. Do you have my voice? Do you hear me? Because you were paused. Hello.
Are we back? Are we back?
Are you hearing
Are
me?
we
Yes,
back?
I'm back.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if that was my internet or your internet. That was horrible.
I don't know. I don't know.
It says my internet, but I'm not using Wi-Fi. I'm very careful. This is the problem about being in Brazil. It's just not reliable. The
Wi-Fi
internet.
connection is not
No,
good.
no, man. I don't use Wi-Fi.
Hmm?
My router is right here, and I have a hardwire connection to it. I don't use Wi-Fi.
Oh, I'm using the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, not me, baby. That was mine though. That was mine. The program told me that my internet was weak, but it's okay now. So what? Go ahead. Go back to what you're saying. So you're saying you were mentioning that it's so important to travel because
It gives you prospects of world that you have never ever had it before. This is very differently. You will look through things since you know other cultures. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that because I couldn't agree with you more. I think that I have matured so much more. I have developed much more of an appreciation of my own culture and my own language, living abroad, going abroad, and having to adapt to a new culture and a new language. And one of the things about teaching English that has done for me is giving me a whole new perspective of my own language. Like I am personally amazed on how much I have learned about my own language teaching it. Like I think a good teacher is a good student, and you don't ever stop learning. Like I know most people here in the chat, they're American. They're English speakers. They don't really need like English from Mr. Finn. But have they ever thought about why we say what we say and how we do it and the reasoning behind it? It's like I don't. And I think some of the problems that I see going on in America could be avoided if more people experienced different parts of the world, different ways people see the world, and maybe they can kind of walk a mile in another person's shoes in another culture and realize, wow, I do have it better.
Yeah, I believe ramifications of traveling will be of no avail. You know, don't speak every time. It's helpful.
My wife has a question for you.
Have you learned a lot about other subjects by giving this for class?
Specific.
Okay. Maybe since I had done it before, I, was practicing myself for this exam. I learned the stuff there, and since I was studying an American high school in Iraq, CSM, Classical School of Medicine, under the control of the American Embassy in Iraq, for those American people who live in Iraq. I really loved it, and yes, lots of things actually, myriads of things that you can find out even in the logic and speech classes, books, which are included in this exam.
Yeah, my wife learns a lot from like she's every time she does a translation, she learns a lot. My wife, because she's Brazilian, she's when we met, and Matt's wanting to know how we met each other. I'll get into that maybe another time, or maybe we could talk about it later. But it's a very good story too. How my wife can tell you in the chat how we met. It was a really interesting story. But when we met, she had told me that she knew English. She's self-taught in English like I am in Portuguese, but she never spoke it. One of the things that I find here in Brazil is that many people, like, they may know some English or they know English, but when they find out that I'm American, they become shy. When they find out that I'm an English teacher, they become even more shy. When they find out that I'm a certified graduated English teacher with 10 years experience and American, they like,
and they will die.
Yeah, they're like mortified, like people, and I it makes me question myself. Like, am I putting off a vibe? Like I'm very judgmental, because as a teacher, I really, and my wife or some of my students in the group in the chat, like Manuel was there earlier, I think they can vouch. I don't shame people for making mistakes in English. I shame people for other things. But for making mistakes in English, I don't do it. I encourage, because the mistakes are just part of the process of learning. So when she started dating, I knew she spoke English, or she knew English, but she wouldn't speak. And after about 4 months of dating, I remember telling her, "Don't you think it's time you start speaking some English with me?" Dude, she got so mad at me. "Why are you forcing me to speak English? Don't force me to speak English." And she was like doing this in Portuguese. I'm like, okay, whenever you're ready. And now that's all she wants to do is speak English. And when we're outside, when we're out in public and stuff, she'll speak English all the time. And there's some places I don't want her to speak English, because I don't want to have to get into a altercation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not, I don't care about being spotted. I already look different. I'm bigger than, I don't say there's, I look different, but some people think I'm from the South or whatever, because my Portuguese accent is pretty good. The problem is there's some places, like Brazil is known for not being the safest place. There's crime a lot.
I love it.
There's a lot of crime around here. And
You are going to be kidnapped?
No, I'm not going to be kidnapped. I'll probably end up killing someone or being killed because someone's going to try to hurt my family. You know what I mean? Like, try to rob me. Oh, this is an American. He's a rich guy. And if I'm by myself,
you armed?
I'm armed with my guns here. I'm armed, but no, I'm not armed. I do walk around with a heavy lighter in my pocket. I usually walk around with a mouthpiece in my pocket. I usually walk around with boots on because I'm a how do I say this? I'm a person that I try to always be ready for anything. I grew up in Southern California. I always had to be ready for earthquakes and disaster. And if I have boots on, I can walk anywhere. So I like to wear boots. I like boots. I know here it's a lot of flip flops, but I'm a big boot person.
I can understand it.
Right? I can walk on glass, coal, whatever, and they could be a weapon too. I could kick someone's teeth in if something happens.
Yeah.
I walk around with a mouthpiece in my pocket just in case, because if there's an altercation, I will immediately put the mouthpiece in my mouth for two reasons. A lot of people don't realize this, but half of the battle is psychological. If somebody sees me put a mouthpiece in my mouth and square off, the person will be like, "Oh shit, this guy knows what he's doing." So I've already won the battle psychologically. And then second, I could put a lighter in my hand, and that will make my hand into a hammer, a solid fist. Now, the problem with Brazil, this would only work in very close quarters or toe-to-toe because Brazilian criminals have guns.
Mm-hmm. And this is not really officially allowed to carry.
Oh,
guns.
no, it's almost like England. Guns are forbidden. Only officials. So it's not quite like England because England officials don't have guns either. But yeah, guns are not allowed, but criminals have them. Oh, the USA is different. We have more and more states are becoming constitutional. They're called constitutional carry. Man, your parakeet is very loud, man.
You know, this morning and they are singing.
Yeah, but I know birds, man, and I recognize it's a parakeet.
Yes.
I recognize the chirp of the birds. I grew up. I bought myself a canary today. I've been wanting a bird. I love birds, so I recognize it's a parakeet, and it's making a lot of noise. He's very happy this morning. Mm-hmm. No, in America, this is the second amendment of the Constitution. We have the right to bear arms. We have the right, and people misinterpret that right, that amendment. Oh, it was for hunting. Oh, it's for this. No, it was. If you look at that amendment, we have the right to have a militia, like, because the government is made by the people and for the people, and according to the Constitution, we the people have the right to overthrow the government. Like that's never going to happen.
But you know that the fact that you can and you are allowed to buy.
We're allowed. Now,
this is very good.
Yeah, it's totally legal. Now, of course, if you're a convicted felon, no. Of course, if you're psychologically unstable with like psychiatric tested, no, you can't.
Automatically.
And people want to blame a lot of these shootings because of firearms. It's not the firearms. And if you pay attention, most of these incidents that happen in America are places that have strict gun laws, that have very strict gun laws. And why? Because my internet's messing up.
I think we are back.
Oh, we're okay. We're back. So, but more, I think there's a couple more states that are becoming constitutional carry. What does that mean? You don't need a license for a gun. It's protected by the Constitution. So you can carry a gun on your body. You can walk around like Texas. I think you can carry a gun. New Hampshire. Okay, let me try to think of the states I know off the top of my head. Texas is constitutional carry. New Hampshire's constitutional carry. South Dakota's constitutional carry. You can literally walk around with a gun on you.
Texas was the pioneer, yes?
No, it wasn't the pioneer. This was from the very beginning of America. The Second Amendment, because remember, the 10 First Amendments of the Constitution were called the Bill of Rights, and they were established at the writing of the Constitution, at the ratification of the Constitution.
Because here in Persian and in Kurdish, we have an idiom when someone has a gun and say, it's not Texas.
Yeah, well, they think that because Texas is known because it's the Lone Star State. People don't realize it, but Texas was an independent country for, it was a country for, my memory's bad with this, but about 10 years, because Texas was part of Mexico. And then it was a part of Mexico. And as the Americans were moving west, kind of growing in the country, they were starting to establish themselves in the territory of Texas. and then there was Texas had the Revolution. This is where we had the Alamo. The Alamos are every state in America has a slogan, like a phrase, and the Texas one is "Remember the Alamo," because it was a bloody battle. Anyways, and after the Revolution, Texas was an independent country for about 10 years or something, and then it was annexed with America. So I don't know why they say that. I think Texas, because everything's big in Texas, and the cowboys. You think of Texas, think of cowboys and guns, but it's not the only state where you have constitutional carry. You can literally, there's some states in America where you can constitutionally carry a gun without a license, without any. I'm an American. I have the right to have a gun. And those states are safer. They're safer. There's less crime.
How many guns can you buy?
As many as you want.
As many as you want.
I think so. I don't think that. I mean, I haven't researched it. Maybe each state has a limit, but my stepmother's brother, right? So my father's brother-in-law, he had a lot of guns, man. I remember growing up. I lived with my father when I was a teenager in Nevada, and that's where he lived. And he had a lot of guns. He had rifles. I remember that was the first time he had an AK-47, which at the time was legal. But yeah. At the time it was legal. Yeah, it's a great gun, man. People don't realize how good of a gun it is. It's a great gun because it's durable. Yeah, it's accurate, it's powerful, and it's durable. It could get wet, it could get dirty, and it'll still fire. It's semi and 30. It's semi and fully automatic.
Yes.
No, it's a great gun. It's a great gun. I've shot an AK-47. I've shot an M16. I've shot an AR-15. I've shot many guns. I had 3 guns when I lived in America. Here in Brazil, I got an old sword. I got an old katana that I have to fix, but I got a sword.
Oh my God, that's a sword.
I'm a knife maker, bro. I used to make knives and stuff. I got some photos on my Facebook that I never used. Anyways, so these are big differences. Like in Brazil, crime is rampant. Nobody's allowed to have a gun unless you're, criminals. All the criminals have guns, and when you are robbed, when someone robs you, it's more than one person. They usually come on a motorcycle. And it's always advice to just give them whatever they want, because life here with the criminals, life is there's no value. It's easier just to kill you and take it. There's no helicopters going to chase you down and stuff like in America. So I've never had a problem here, even though where I live there's often crimes. And the only reason why I think I've never had a problem is I'm not a victim. Like, I don't have victim mentality. Like, I grew up in pretty bad places in California, so I know how to walk around in the streets. I don't walk around like nervous. No, I walk around like I know what I'm doing, and I kind of confident. I put out a vibe like, don't mess with me. Like I'm not a superhero, but it's not going to be easy. So. All right, we're back. Anyways, well, I think these are some signs maybe that we should probably wrap it up. We've already spent an hour and almost 40 minutes. And
yes,
I mean, I could keep going. I love talking about this stuff. I love talking about cultural differences. And I know I've talked too much. I have this problem, but it's my show, whatever. No, I'm just kidding.
This is very good. I really love it.
But and I love that you're a good sport, I love that you're a good sport, and I knew, like, if I reached out to you, if you could, you would.
Sure. We will do this lives.
Let me ask you something. What are your plans for the future? As an English teacher, as a man, are you seeing anybody? Are you going to be getting married sometime in the future? You know me, I'm a big family man. I'm all about family, marriage, kids.
Yes. I really love to get married. Maybe in couple of years.
Is there anybody in particular? Are you seeing anybody right now?
Yes, for sure.
Awesome.
Yes, for sure. And maybe migrating to Canada as my
Really?
Yes.
Why Canada?
Starting there.
So start there and then come to America.
Much more easy rules to migrate.
Yeah, but Canada, man. Canada, in my opinion, Canada is going to be like
And
the
that's why
first
I'm
cut.
studying French.
That's because it's important. Depends on where you're going, especially like Ottawa, places like
So,
this. It's important. Alberta,
Montreal,
yeah, it's important to
Montreal.
it's important to know French in these places. But be careful. Canada, if you see what's going on in Canada, it's like going to be the headquarters of like the new world order in a way, because they have some totalitarian laws. Like for example, if my kid comes home and says that he considers himself a girl, anybody who knows me knows that I'm not going to accept that.
Except
Like
what?
if he comes home and says he's a girl, no, you're not.
Uh-huh.
But if that happens in Canada, the state will take him away from me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like Canada's nice. I think it's a good backdoor to get into America, better than Mexico. But the only
Actually,
true
yes.
place,
If I get my residency there, I'll be more free to travel because with the
now
passport of my country,
residency like medicine. Are you studying medicine?
I'm not studying medicine. I'm studying linguistics.
Uh,
I quitted medicine university.
but don't you get a residency from studying medicine?
Actually, I am not studying medicine no longer. So I quitted university when I was in Ukraine, which I back to my country and I
I
quit it.
remember. I remember.
So I started learning French and linguistics in the university.
Are you afraid? Are you afraid that we're going to lose our jobs as English teachers because of technology?
No,
Why
at
not?
least you can be an interpreter.
I'm sorry. Oh, an entrepreneur. But why?
Yeah.
Why would people want to hire us rather than using technology?
Because I don't know, but I think that technology cannot, replace. Because how strong is it? How correct is it? Is it really correct? Is it really, exact and translating the meanings for treaties, in high levels contracts? Maybe for translating subtitles of some series they can use it, but for treaties, no one, I guess.
Yeah,
No.
that's kind of
Trust
my
them.
argument. That's
At
kind of
least
my
not
argument.
now.
That's kind of my argument too. AI is getting stronger, and technology, right? As far as translating, is getting better. And I've seen technology where they're going to have hearing aids that will hear the language and translate it to your mother tongue for you.
This is for very distant future.
Yeah, I
Not
agree.
right
But
now.
even still, what you're saying is one of my arguments too. Nothing can replace the human intuition and the human factor.
Yes.
I'm giving a class. I'm giving a class to a young kid right now, kind of preparing him for. He's not sure if he wants to take the Cambridge exams or the IELTS exams. I told him it's basically the same thing. The only real difference is like the IELTS has a expiration date on its validation, whereas Cambridge exams don't. But we're going through, because I was explaining, when you take these tests, one of the most important things is not, of course, you have to know the English language, but what's more important, you have to know how to take the test.
I got it.
Because you understand what I'm saying, right? Because there's very limited time. You have
Yes.
you have to be able to express yourself and do all these things. So it's much more important. Like if you're good at English, but if you're not prepared to take the test, you're going to fail the test.
Yes, sure, undoubtedly. And let me tell you something really
Tell me.
amazing about the, accuracy of translation. Okay, how important it can be. A couple of weeks ago, I guess, Donald Trump had a speech, talking of the new politics about America toward my country, Iran, sanctions and stuffs, and he said, "Leave the sanctions, then negotiate."
He's right.
If you remember this
Yeah.
phrase of him, okay, and it was translated to my native language. It's like, okay, leave the sanctions means that go away, disappear the sanctions, and
That's not what
negotiate.
it, that's not what it
Sanctions are not.
means. That's
Yeah,
not what it means, though.
yeah, sure. That was
Let
a
me ask you.
false.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. What do Iranian people think of Americans?
We think the right is with the America.
And you can get in trouble
We
for
are
saying it.
annoyed. For
And you
sure,
can,
we
and you
are
can,
annoyed. We are under the pressure of
I
financial
know,
problems.
I know.
But
All my Iranian friends, everyone that I know who's Iranian, they feel the same way. They
Mhm.
feel like the boot of the government is on their throat.
Yes, this is the
You know,
fact.
and I would love to visit Iran one day because I have made good connections with Iranians. I made a friend who's the director of the Cambridge School in Surrey, Iran.
Mhm.
How far are you from Surrey, Iran?
This is sorry if I guess. Yes,
Saudi, yeah. Sorry,
yes. Sorry, maybe.
my Farsi is very very
Yeah.
rusty.
Maybe 10 hours.
10 hours.
Yes, maybe with car 10 hours. Yes.
Crap, because I'm thinking, where can I go in Iran and I can meet all of my like Iranian friends at the same time? How about Minab? Minab. How far are you from Minab?
I don't know.
It's in the south. Minab.
No, but haven't ever heard it.
Shut the hell up. Are you serious? Am I saying it wrong? Hold on. I'm
Minab.
telling yeah, Minab. It's spelled Minab. Minab.
Minab.
It's in the south. It's by the Gulf of Persia, Persian Gulf, I think.
Wait.
It's a big country, man.
No, Minab. This is not the Minab. Can you spell it?
Minab. Minab, Iran.
City in Iran. Really? Minab.
I could swear it's off the Gulf of Persia.
I got
It's
it.
off the Persian Gulf, right?
I got it. I got it. Yes, a very beautiful city. A really
Is-
beautiful city.
How far is it from you?
Maybe from me, it says maybe 22 hours.
Crap. That's far. All right.
22.
So I guess if I go one day to visit Iran, I would have to plan accordingly. Who am I going to visit?
You must stay here a whole month, and we will show you whole of the country.
Yeah, I would definitely go and hang out with you, Arvin. That's for
I
sure.
would really love that.
Yeah, and you got it. You got to come out to Brazil. If I'm in America before you make plans to come to Brazil, then you definitely have to come to visit me in America. My wife and I have plans to. We're waiting to get called from the consulate for us to get her documents in order, because I started the process in 2018, and yeah, it's just
2018.
we should if COVID 2.5, because it was September 2018, so it's about 2.5 years ago now. If COVID didn't happen, we would be there already. So that just messed everything up. But her and I've got plans. Like, when we go to America, we were kind of starting to save for it, but before we buy a house, we want to buy a motorhome. And that's one of my reasons for trying to push so hard to be able to make a sustainable living online. Because if I'm able to make a sustainable living giving classes online, monetizing my YouTube channel, being able to have a steady
live anywhere then.
that's my point.
That's the point.
That's my point. Now I do want to establish roots because I have children, and I want to give them this experience of being on the road and seeing some stuff. But part of my wife and I wanting to have a motorhome is to see the country, and we can kind of figure out where's the best place for us. You know,
Great.
I love California, but I'm so disgusted at what's happened to California. Like well, bro, California is one of the most beautiful states in the country. We have the redwood forest, we have Yosemite, we have the beautiful Golden Coast, we have beautiful deserts, high deserts, we have the mountains, we have an alpine lake, Lake Tahoe. California is beautiful. The problem is the same as Iran, the same as anything else when the government.
Disconnected again, I guess.
Are we back?
Yes, you are back with voice only. I can't
Wow.
see you moving.
Well, I see you.
Yes, and now you're back. Okay.
Okay, that's so weird. Well, I think we'll better wrap it up. But anyways, that so I love California, but it just breaks my heart because it's just gotten too big. The government's gotten too big. There's a huge exodus right now leaving California. There's just a huge exodus because small businesses are being crushed. People are being crushed. It's just a nightmare. So
I see.
you know what I mean? But anyways, that's kind of our plan. My wife, she's a biologist. I'm a caveman. We love nature.
That's
You know,
good.
my wife is saying you can come along with us. She's like, invite. Oh, invite
Sure,
us, Arvin. She's inviting. She wants you to invite us to
I
your
will invite
place.
you
That's what.
officially. Here, I
Yeah,
promote you.
but
Come Iran and we'll make a trip
well,
to remember.
yeah, we will one day. My wife, I can't afford it right now.
Iran, I think, is one of the most cheapest countries.
Well, dude, I got to pay for
Cheapest.
airfare and everything, and I got a family of 4, dude. So I'm not a person who totally seeks after money, but money is very useful, right?
Sure.
Anyways, bro, this was awesome. I really appreciate
Thank you so much.
being here with me. We may have to do this again one time. Maybe I'll try to organize something a little more formal. What I wanted to do here, I think we achieved. I wanted just people to get to know you. I wanted to talk about these differences in
That's really cool.
the different cultures. I think Matt asked the question that I asked you, and you answered it. What do Iranians think of the U.S. and the West? From what I heard, you guys love it. You guys agree with us. You guys don't hate us.
No, there's no blues here.
But I understand his question because what the media portrays is you guys want war with us.
We know
You want
the
to
media
kill us.
lying.
I know.
Media.
Why do you think I don't watch it?
Obvious.
I don't watch it. I don't watch news. I don't catch on to this hysteria over the COVID stuff of the vaccine. I don't watch this crap. You know, they push it. They're talking about vaccine passports. And now I just was checking out because I watch YouTube. I watch independent journalists, and you see that they're Johnson & Johnson, they're pausing vaccinations because now people are dying. They're having blood clots. And when they have blood clots, doctors give a medicine for a blood clot, and that's making it worse. What do you know? There are problems pushing a vaccine that hasn't gone through trial testing, and they're shaming you to do it.
We haven't received vaccines yet.
Well, if I were you, I wouldn't take it.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no vaccine here in my country.
Don't do what you want. I'm not, but I won't take it. If I'm going to take it, someone's gonna have to force me. They have to tie me down. They're gonna have to force me to take it because I don't want to take it. If I can't travel, if I can't go back to my country because of I need the vaccine, and my wife knows this, and I know it's her dream for us to go there, but I won't go. I won't take it because I just look. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not totally against vaccines. I just do not feel comfortable with the narrative of what's going on and how they're pushing this, and we don't know the long-term side effects. The companies that created it have no liability against it. You can't sue them for any problems. I just don't trust any of this. I don't trust the speech from some of these people. If you look back some years, like Bill Gates talking about sterilization, overpopulation, and you can't genocide people anymore, but they maybe want to, sterilize population. You know what I mean? I don't know. No, thank you, man. I don't. My wife can tell you. I don't even like medicine. I don't
This
like.
is not your choice, anyway.
Yeah. No, whatever. It's totally my choice.
Really?
I use the same. I don't take it unless I really need medicine. I don't like to take medicine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, what does my wife say to you here? Look. Think about doing this, Arvin, with your future wife. It is better to travel the world when you don't have kids. Yeah, I love my kids, but it makes things a little more challenging.
Hard, yes.
Expensive.
Yes.
But anyways, yeah. I look when it comes to this jab, I use the same argument as the people who support abortion. My body, my choice.
Abortion.
Now, that's a whole different subject. I'm not a fan of abortion. That's a whole other rabbit hole we could get down. You know, it's illegal in America. They're trying to make it legal in South America now. Argentina just made it legal. Brazil, people are talking about it. I am so anti-abortion, but we'll talk about that another time. I know it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in Iran, right? Of course not.
It happens, when two judges and two people who are, expert in Islam can confirm that this is of no avail.
Do they have mercy killings in Iran?
No.
Like my daughter shamed the family so I could kill my daughter.
No. Constitutionally, no, but a few months ago, that was happened, unfortunately.
Wow.
That was a calamity.
Wow. How about female circumcision? Does that happen?
Like what?
Removing male circumcision, right? The foreskin.
I got it.
So I know some Islamic countries practice female circumcision, and I was curious if that happens where you live.
Yeah, in my country, no, but in Arabic countries, yes.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot Iran's not Arabic. It's more Arabic, like Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia, which is really,
it's horrible. It's
horrible.
It's different for a girl than a guy, because for a guy it's just the foreskin. But for the woman, it's butchering. It's so. And you know what? And I mean, I know we're going to wrap this up right now, but just to wrap this up, you look at America and these social justice warriors and these people who've never stepped foot out of their country, and they've got their heads so far up their backsides, these feminists and stuff, but they don't say anything about what goes on in your part of the world to women and stuff.
Yeah,
here in Brazil, man, you got women walking around half naked daily.
And here it's not.
Yeah, you got women who are old and don't have the best body, but they in their mind they're still like a teenage girl, and they don't dress appropriately, and they're showing too much.
That's good.
Yeah, you go to the beach, man. There's almost nothing, string bikinis and everything. So, and you got these kinds of women, women's rights, feminists. Okay, why don't you talk about this in that part of the world where women are really oppressed?
Here, women are not living; they're only breathing.
And reproducing.
Breathing, yes.
Breeding, reproducing. Yeah, and that's my point. I think in your corner of the world there has been progress, but still it's a totally different culture. Like
but
I was talking
dramatically.
Not dramatically. And I was talking with a couple guys the other day about like Europe and the problem with Europe. Europe is being outbred. Because in the Western world, families are not encouraged. Well, no. What I'm trying to say is like in the Western world, America and Europe, families are not incentivized. Like the society tells women, you don't need a husband, you don't need kids, focus on your career, focus on your life, and they do that, and then maybe they end up getting married in their 30s, and then they're too old to have kids. And then maybe if they have kids, they have one kid. And then you have an influx of immigrants coming there with a different culture, 5, 6 kids. And like Europe is being outbred. Does that make sense?
And I believe that leads to dysfunctional families in Europe.
I agree. It becomes very narcissistic. And you live for myself. Yeah. Anyways, you and I could go down so many rabbit holes, and I probably said we're going to end this live a few minutes ago, but I just think of another rabbit hole. And I love talking to people like yourself from a different part of the world with a different prospects, different point of view. And, you and I don't agree on everything, but we respect each other. And
that's good. And that's beautiful.
That is beautiful. And, I just like that. And I think it just more people had more discourse and talked and shared, that things would be a lot better. And if people just left their comfort zone, went out, experienced the world. I think Brazilians are very big about that. Brazilians love to travel, whereas Americans, they just think that whatever, I don't know. The comfort of life has really kind of made it stagnant, but that's okay. We're going to end it with that. And you and I, like I said, you and I could talk about a lot of these things and a lot
A lot
of
of things.
other times. So stick around really quick, Arvin. I'm going to sign off here, but stick around, okay? Guys, thank you for joining us. Those of you who are in the chat, Manuel, Matt's always been great. My beautiful wife, Diana, Matthew Picard, and all you others. I'm glad you guys made it. I hope you enjoyed the show. Hopefully in the future, maybe Arvin, I could get him back. And we'll see you all again another time, all right? I'm going to sign off. I'm Mr. Finn, and I'll catch you later. Bam!
Yeah, baby, yeah.